All right. A big good afternoon, a very good afternoon to one and all. I'm Sujata, and I would like to welcome you all to this session for IELTS Success Series on behalf of IDP and Billington English. Together, we bring the best that can take you to the success what IELTS can provide you with. Okay, so in today's session, we're going to do many things. But since when you have registered, there's some glimpse of agenda that you may have. So in the chat, while the others are joining, write what do you know is going to happen in today's session. Come on, I want to see when you register. Do you also look at what are we saying for the session? Write in the chat. Suresh, thank you for being the fastest finger first. Yes, it's about spellings and it's about grammar. Yeah. And Suresh and others, do you think it's important? Do you think when it's IELTS and English exam, is spelling important? Manit, why is it important? What happens if you don't pay attention to spellings? Okay, Akshat, you're saying, it's not only for the IELTS, it's also, for your communication, which you will be doing later overseas or nationally. Yeah. So Suresh is saying, it's all about the bands that you get. Sohil is saying it's about the proper meaning. There could be a communication break if the errors are there. Okay. Perfect. Ramki, I'm reading what you all are writing and I love it when you know what's going to happen. Okay. But there's more also. Because we give a very small, short synopsis, but there's more to it when the session gets run. And today, as always, the session is going to be max 60 minutes. And we would like to give 15 minutes out of this 60 minutes to the question and answers. And I would love to take most of the questions towards the end of the session. But in case if I feel there are some things which are very relevant to what I'm doing then and there, and I have room and space to take up those questions, I would. Okay. I would also announce your name when reading out your question. So please make sure there's a name on the screen for you. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely, Fatima. You got it absolutely right. And it's 3-3. And I'm sure, Ankit, the others would join. Let's not make the ones who have joined any further. And let's kind of, start the session. And I'm sure the others can join by the time we are on the second or the third slide. Okay. So, all right, here we go. And what do we have for you here? We would like to reiterate when it comes to achieving your work, study, and migration goals with IELTS by IDP. All that you got to do is just get familiar with the IELTS exam, do some mock test papers, see what you need as a final score, and then book your exam easily by clicking on a web portal. Results are quick. 5 days from the test date is what we give you for a CD test within 5 days. And 13 days from the test date is what we give you for the pen and paper. So IDP in India has test centers all across India altogether. I hope you've seen the list on the website. And for the pen and paper, for the computer test dates, there are many centers available across all cities. Okay. So here, a question that many often ask, there's so many options, when it comes to an English proficiency exam for visa purposes. Why IELTS? So IELTS is accepted worldwide, be it the government agencies, educational institutions, or any professional bodies. They really value the IELTS certification because they know the scores are authentic. B, while you're preparing for the IELTS exam, you get connected to to English as a language so in a friendly manner that it allows you to nurture your own skills to the maximum and utilize those skills not only just for the exam, but also to mark or embark your journey henceforth, because communication is of utmost importance right now in an age of communication. Okay. So here we have something for you to watch today, and I'm going to just play this. And once you see this, all this will become more clear for you, what we just talked about. Okay. So take me a second to set the screen.
A sweet little girl and flight of her dreams.
Let her fly.
I hope you all can see the screen, right? And you can hear the video and watch the video. Correct? Because I'm going to start from the very start, the video. Okay, let me just see. Yes, perfect. Thank you. It's very important because halfway through, if somebody says I can't, it's difficult.
A sweet little girl and flight of her dreams.
Let her fly.
From her rooftop, not so high, she would catch the planes go soaring by. Growing up, she told her friends about her dream of traveling the world one day.
ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮ ਦੇਣ ਚੱਲੀਆਂ ਤੂੰ ਆਇਲਸ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਦੇ ਦੇ ਜੱਸੀ ਆਇਲਸ ਦੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ
ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਮਝਾਉਂਦਾ ਆਇਲਸ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਪੱਕੀ ਨੀਂਹ ਪੱਕੇ ਇਰਾਦੇ ਤੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਆਇਲਸ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਔਖਾ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ
She was very clear of what it would take to make her dreams real. Her passion for her dreams was so strong that she let no doubt stand in her way. She was determined to get closer to her goals with every passing day.
My given name is Jaspreet. My hobbies are singing, dancing.
Wait, listen. I know you will do it.
Yes, she will do it. Come.
Bye.
Hey, Jessie. Heard you cleared some English test.
Not just some English test. It's the IELTS test. Look, here's my admission letter and the visa. I'm all set to go for studies abroad. Didn't you also wish to move abroad? Just appear for IELTS and come with me. Jaspreet!
Hey, Jassi!
Hey, I threw a party for you all just yesterday. What's this call about, huh?
We have a breaking news for you. Harvinder has also started preparing for IELTS.
That's like my buddy Harvinder. If I can clear IELTS, so can you.
Strong determination and good preparation. IELTS, flight for your dreams. IELTS makes it possible.
All right. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and we just released this video especially, for all of you to help you understand the difference before you think of IELTS and once you've taken the IELTS exam, how it impacts your entire communication journey, how it impacts your level of confidence, and who all wants to make sure that they do get the visa outside. Please come on, write in the chat. Who all are planning immigration abroad? Who all want to study abroad? I want to hear. Yes, absolutely. I want a complete yes from everyone. And this success series is to stamp the real essence of IELTS, that it is just not any English exam, it's the IELTS exam. And once you get onto the journey of IELTS, it is the success ladder, okay? And please make sure you make the best of today's session. Ask your doubts, we are here for you only, okay? So let's continue what we have specially brought for you, specially designed for you, specially customized for you. And this is just not like a thought process. This is like what we've seen in scripts, what we've seen in the exam, and what we feel can help you is all there in the session today. Okay, so let's not make you wait any further. So this is what I've got already from you. We're going to look at some spelling errors, maybe listening, maybe reading, or probably both. And probably we'll also look at, some grammar errors, and probably you will also solve some questions that I have your way, because I need to see what my audience can best do and how can I help my audience today. Okay. So of course, power tips will go hand in hand to everything that I cover with each slide. Okay. So what does the screen going to say now? There's a challenge for you. So lovely audience, you have half a minute to let me know the correction. You don't need to type the entire sentence. You just need to tell me if something has been added extra or has been eaten away, for the punctuation. Okay, in the chat, start sending me your responses, please. Thank you, Dave. I can see a comma, but you need to also specify where. Okay, Manit. So comma has come from Dave, but where? Where, unless you don't tell me the position, I wouldn't know whether you understand it. Absolutely. Now, can somebody tell me why, after most importantly, a comma is there? How someone who doesn't know about commas can also sense, oh, there's something which is not so complete here. Absolutely, Anjali, you've hit the bull's eye. When we speak and we are speaking some phrases, there's usually a pause. Okay, so this helps us to understand that, is there a requirement of a comma or not? So brilliantly done. Yeah, awesome. So we're going to go on the next one, and there are more challenges. So just start responding to the next one. There's a preposition that's incorrect or probably correct. I don't know. Suraj, that was so quick. Absolutely. So Suraj, fastest finger first. So in my country, okay, very good. Because it's not like a specified small place, it's like a big place. So in, okay. You need to understand these are very small looking prepositions, but they have some sensibility attached to how they have to be used. Okay, so now the next one, the challenges are going to keep coming. I want participation. Come on. Plural challenge. So someone is saying, awesome, awesome. So stories, we frequently see new stories. Okay, so absolutely, it's about, it's how you kind of say and how it kind of sounds complete. So well done. So do I have more challenges? Let me see. Oh, I do. So come on, let's answer this one, please. Quick. Okay, now that was so quick, Akshat. Awesome. So it's the city. Most importantly, they attract tourists that make money for the city. This sentence clearly says that wherever this is coming, before that, this day has been justified. And that's the reason, the talk about the city would also be confirmed. So it's a confirmed city, and it's they attract tourists. So we wouldn't say the tourists, Ramki, because they could be from any walk of field, but the city must be one in specification where we are being talking for. Okay. So let's look at the last but not the least. And is there a spelling change that you would like to do? Or there are no spelling errors? Any spelling change? So Dinesh is saying, I know my English well. Okay. Arpanpreet, very nice that you wrote in museum, but that's not the correction. So we go by what Dinesh is saying, and it is absolutely just no error. This is a word which may come to you sometime when you are overseas. This is a word that may come to you when you are in India. And as proficient English users, you should know mausoleum is a word which is being used for Taj Mahal. Okay, and a lot of people get this incorrect. At times it has come in the listening script also. Okay. Now let's go to the next one, and common listening mistakes. Before I show this particular slide, my question to the lovely audience is, all the challenges that we did, in the previous slide, do you relate to them? Do you think you also slip because of those challenges? Do those challenges trouble you from time to time? What are you doing to fix those challenges? Because unless I don't know your thought process, I really cannot customize a session that well, correct? So Dinesh, I like, this sometimes, yeah, not always. Good Akshat, a good reader is a good writer. But why only essays, Akshat? Why not daily newspapers? Dinesh, very nice if you're focusing on grammar, but how are you focusing on grammar? Can you write to me in the chat, please? So Fatima, well done. You got to listen clearly and you got to make friendship with the phonics, the sounds. At times, we slip because we have not done our phonics well as foundation. And that is the reason the spellings kept going wrong. But since the school domain was slightly more lenient, we never gave that thought process. But here in the IELTS exam, any error in the spelling, in the listening and reading makes the answer incorrect. You do not even have any grace marking there. And a bunch of spelling errors in the writing can also bring down your band scores. Yeah. So Dinesh, I like when you say Renan Martin. Can I add one more book for you? Dinesh and others, write down Raymond Murphy. Okay, Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N-D, Raymond Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y. So just like Renan Martin has always been around, Raymond Murphy definitely is your one-stop shop for correct practice for grammar. Okay, so Dinesh, do try this altogether. So Fatima, I've read what you've written, and I like when you say this is a problem, but problems remain till the time we keep running away from it. But once we start addressing it, half the problem is already taken care of. Yeah, Dinesh, not at all. It's not. Okay, you can definitely look up, and it's worth every penny it's bought for. Yeah, so Dinesh has already written the book name. Scroll up in the chat. It's Raymond Murphy. Okay, now I'm going further to what I have for you for today. I'm saying when it comes to listening, spellings need to be taken care of. You will lose marks if you misspell the names of the cities, place, countries, or addresses that are mentioned only once in the audio. So any grammatical mistakes also are taken into consideration while marking your answers. So if this is an answer in one of the students' script, do you think this is correct? It starts with Saint. Do you think the student has done an error? So what is the letter that is not there? Which letter is missing? Yeah, brilliant, Fatima. It is E, and that make Peters complete. Okay, now this may not mean that the person does not know spelling, but probably it's a slip. The person was in a hurry and didn't pay attention to what he or she is writing. So who's got to know your errors? You yourself, you have to be in the reflective practice mode. You can't just depend on a teacher and says, oh, she didn't do my spelling correction. I'm so sorry. You got to be aware spellings take away your marks. So make sure you put them into your practice tick list also. Now, the next that I really want to focus today is hyphens. A lot of students in the listening are unable to look at hyphens correctly. Okay, so compound words, compound adjectives, there are different ways it comes across. I'm going to look at this together with you. When it says small animal with a hyphen, doctor, what does this mean? I say Mihir is a small animal doctor who has been practicing in my village for the last 2 years. So what am I trying to say? How does this small animal doctor to this small animal doctor can change the meaning of my sentence? Of course, Suresh, any hyphenated word is one word. Thank you for putting it up. But I'm asking here the meaning and the implication. Hyphen is just not about decoration piece. It is just not a rule that you only have to blindly follow. It is about drawing common sense from the usage also, because that will help you get into the auto check mode. Okay. Correct, correct, correct. Absolutely correct. So here, let us try this one first. Yeah, but that's there because we've been looking at spelling. So well spotted altogether. But here, what I'm doing is small animal, and I want the answer to be on small animal. My question is, how is small animal doctor meaning may differ from small animal doctor? Are you are so close? Okay, very close. Are write your full name, please. Single word, double word, of course, that is done. We've already discussed. Rudresh, I read your name. So Rudresh, Dave is saying it is addressed that Suresh is a doctor of small animals. And in second, Suresh is a small doctor of animals. Well done, Dave. Absolutely bang on. Okay. So here, small animal means he treats animal who are smaller in sizes. Okay. So it's a specialty. And, those animals should be taken for treatment to this doctor. But small animal doctor means, his setup or probably, his status. He's like a small doctor. Yeah, he's a small doctor. So that's how people do really speak, but that's not exactly how we should be speaking. Okay, the next one, brilliantly done, is here. It's 30 story. And of course, it's 30 stories with an EY. The spelling has been done, especially because we're doing spellings parallelly. So I want you to have that vigilance. When you see something, and even if that's not the objective, can you meet the objective? So that's been done and taken care. But why is it here? Let's focus on that, hyphens. Now, 30 is a number, it's an adjective, but it's coming with a noun, and it's all this together is sitting before a noun. So when a compound adjective sits before a noun, a number and a noun together can be called as a compound adjective. Okay, if it is sitting before a noun, and at that situation, it can take a hyphen. But here, the adjective is coming after the noun and or before the noun, but it's not coming, number, noun. Okay, so please understand this is a small mistake which usually happens in the listening. Out of 40 questions, 1 or 2 may be hyphenated, and if you don't get your compound adjective sorted, you may continue to lose your marks. So please write down to the list of improvements. You got to be really aware of compound adjectives and how they add meaning or amplify meaning to the sentence in which they are sitting. Now, the next one that I really want to show today is a minor mistake, but any mistake is a mistake and it takes away your score. It's either 0 or 1. Yeah. So here, the audio tape said photos. Yeah. And somehow we heard it, but we still wrote without an S. Or probably it said newspapers and we wrote without an S. Or probably it said just newspaper and we wrote an extra S. So at times we add plurals unnecessarily. At times we eat plurals unnecessarily. Yeah. Absolutely correct, Samson. So here, do you understand the plurals? Now, how can you improve these? Now, let's focus on that. Okay. If I take you to the next slide, it'll help you get the first thing right. These are just like some spelling errors, which are like widespread. It could be reading, it could be listening, it could be speaking, but these are like South Asia errors. And you can definitely take a click of this slide, because you should make sure that you give dictation to yourself and you don't get these wrong. Okay. And of course, what are your errors? They come to perspective, or they come to the surface once you practice and you list them. So how would you know your mistakes if you start creating a bucket list? Okay. So for example, I took a listening test today and I got a 34 out of 40. I realized I've done 6 errors, and those 6 errors, are falling in different categories. So a category could be wrong spelling. Probably I forgot the answer because I was doing too much multitasking and I did not write real time. Or, probably a singular plural error, or probably I wrote a wrong word formation, the hyphen, the way I said, or probably changing the place of the word altogether, or the recording said a different word, but At times it's so human, we hear it, but we still write what we want to write. So anything. Now, out of the 6 errors you see, you have 3 spelling errors. Now, this becomes your top priority to fix before you move to the next listening test, because spellings one found incorrect can become much bigger in shape. Now, your second error, more in quantity, could have been 2 plural errors. That means you need to rehear that part of the audio where the S came and you didn't hear. Why? Are you not able to pick up those S sounds? That means your phonics for the S need to be practiced, and you can go to BBC Learn English and look at phonics videos, okay? That can help you for specific S sound words in the end. Now, this is called target rectification, and this is called mistake analysis. So it's not necessary you need these many columns. Probably you only make 2 category of mistakes. So your mistake analysis only falls in 2 categories. I've just made a larger, analysis form just to kind of bring in more perspective. Okay, so what is the power tip that we are giving for today? Practice, pause, reflect, correct, re-practice. See whether by the 3rd practice, are you able to at least remove one major error, then you're making progress. If you're just shifting between errors, so for example, a lot of students says, oh, there's no pattern of errors. I did a test today and I had these wrong. I did a test tomorrow and I did these wrong. So that means you need to make sure you do more tests. The pattern will come up. At times, the pattern is not so visible by just taking 1 test or 2 tests. Okay, so keep patience when it comes to pattern identification or mistakes. Now, everyone, there's a task for you, because today's session is all about you attempting, few questions as well. So very carefully, I request you to only analyze the first para. Okay, don't answer for the other paras, only the first para. How many mistakes of spellings can you see? Okay, so I get 2. Okay, perfect. So keep that in mind. 2 mistakes is what I am getting. Okay, now let's shift our focus to the body para 1, which is in pink. Only focus on the pink para and let me know if there are any spelling errors. Just tell me the count. I'm not doing a spelling test for any one of you here, but at present, I want to know the number of mistakes because I'm doing mistake analysis. Okay, Harvinder says 3, Tulsi says 2. All right. Now move your focus to the green colored para, and that's a second body para. How many spelling errors now? And along with spelling errors, do you see any subject verb agreement error in the third para? Okay, Tulsi saying, so it's been 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. And then I'm getting Ramki saying, oh, I think there's a subject verb agreement. Okay, but standard is like 2. Okay, now the next one. How many spelling errors do you see in the next one? The colored para towards the end, second last. Okay, so Samsung, please write your name. I'm not finding it good to call you Samsung like that. Okay, thank you. So everybody's saying 1. Now let's look at all of you are much on track, for what you are saying altogether. But if we have so many mistakes, do you think you should be given marks, or, there should be some deduction on marks? What do you feel? Thanks, Harsh. I get your name. Also, put it on the screen, no, Harsh? Instead of Samsung, it should say Harsh there. Okay, yes. So 1 or 2 spelling mistakes can be considered as a slip, but more than 2 spelling mistakes is an error. And it clearly says if the errors are there, then the bands would be reduced for sure. Now, since we're doing writing and we looked at spelling, it's very important to look at the other aspects also. And we should know how important it is for us to have error-free sentences, to get a band 7 in our marking for one of the columns, that is grammar range and accuracy. Now, when you write, you may use a relative clause incorrectly, okay? Because who, that, which, they bring a lot of relation and addition to the information, and they help to design complex sentence structures. Probably your conditional clause, you do not practice enough, and on the test day you still tried to use, but you had an error of the tense, because most of the balance between the two arms of the conditional clause need to be very, very precisely taken care of. Okay, so now another error, which is a very frequent error. Some students don't want to use perfect tense, which is limiting their language potential. B, if they use, then they do not know how to use it that effectively and correctly. Okay, so please revise your rules for present perfect and past perfect. And the passage, which uses the third form of the verb. So please make sure you know your base verb and the further form, so that your participle doesn't get wrong when you're writing. And when you're using gerunds, a lot of students just use it to flaunt that they know gerunds, but you need to use them sensibly. Yes, when the verb behaves like a subject or an object with an ing form, that's when the gerund is present in your sentence structure. Okay, so now I have a screen for you, and I want you to really spend time on the corrections that I have done in the articles for the same essay that you read, 2 slides back. And this time I'm not focusing on the spellings or the subject verb agreement. I'm focusing on the articles. And you tell me which article has the maximum errors. Akshat, yes, they are useful, but they are informal pieces, punctuation, so don't use more than 2 and use them sensibly. Just don't use them back to back, because you are supposed to write a response, not seek a response, correct? All right, so how many of you fall trap to eating the mostly? How many of you miss writing the? Nitansh, thank you for letting me know, Dinesh. Now, who will guide you when you are writing? Who comes to your rescue? Who helps you? Tell me. What's your support function to know your article mistakes or language grammar errors? Dinesh, I like your confidence, only me, but you need some technology if you don't have a teacher. Okay. So I believe, in empowering students, and you should have technology with you. So Atika, Grammarly is good, but it's very deep. And at times it kind of reduces confidence for students. Okay. So right now what they need is a surface touch, basic fixes. And of course, if they have more time, then Grammarly going deep into can also help. But I prefer Pro Writing Aid, Atika. Pro Writing Aid, because it really gives me one view. Pro Writing Aid. Why? Because it gives me one view for the number of mistakes I'm doing and what's my health check for grammar. I want to know my health check for grammar. Am I 60% accurate or 70% accurate? And how by fixing just 3 errors, I jump to 100% because my communication has become clear and my errors are no longer the errors. So these are like simple things. And to start with, Pro Writing Aid is good. And then moving to Grammarly. But how can you fix this? Write down why you missed it and start proofreading it. Okay. So all over the world is how it is always there. In a zoo is a general thing that they're speaking, and getting sick because the area is not big enough, because they're talking in reference to what they have already put in. Okay. So the area has come because it's been specified. So please understand the definite article has many roles and shapes, and you need to look at Raymond Murphy or Renan Martin to get your basic understanding of usage correct. Okay. Now, this is just something that I put in so that in case somebody did not get the answer, then would have it now. But I got this answer from one person very quickly, and this was the subject verb agreement error. So good thing is this student has spelling errors only to the for correction, and it has articles. So the mistake analysis form would be read for 2 categories more. And that means the person needs to spend at least 2 days focusing and making articles his or her strength, focusing and making spellings his or her strength. So please, this 2 days will not fix all errors, but it will help reducing, and it help you make you become an aware writer. Okay, it's very important to be aware of your mistakes, because editing stage is what makes writing complete. And that's where, the common errors or slips that you do, you can really go back and fix them. Okay, so what's the power message that I have for all of you? Because, grammar is like an endless story, and we've been doing in school for so long. What are the main things that you should really focus? Of course, the main things are the errors that you're doing the most, and the top list is up in front of you altogether. Okay, so a lot of students don't know how to make sentence structures correctly. They don't know where the adverb can come, and even the usage of adverb is done incorrectly. They don't know the rule of adjectives, how size, shape, and others come into focus. So those things have to be dealt with, because that can create confusion in your writing communication. Okay, so punctuation, the comma is one of the less tried punctuation marks. Semicolon is a rare punctuation mark, but these are required. Okay, so comma comes, after linkers. Comma comes even before, most of the fanboys conjunctions. And comma comes whenever we have a list of items to segregate, for which a quantity is not being defined independently. Okay, so please understand the usage of comma. Please understand the usage of semicolon, which joins two independent clauses, and it has relatable ideas. And you don't want to use a full stop and you say, okay, a semicolon is there for my support. So please understand the usage. And the first thing that you can really do starting today, start noticing punctuation marks. Start noticing correct subject verb agreement. And for that, you need to read daily good articles, either from newspaper or chosen blogs. You can choose subjects which are topics which are very relevant for your IELTS speaking or writing. And you don't need IELTS books to do that daily. You can read from any piece, which is from everyday life. It could be fashion, it could be hospitality, it could be education. Enjoy language, see the flow. If you notice language, you acquire language. If you use language, you champion language. So please understand, without making efforts, the output would not be in your favor. So the efforts are required from your end. Now, a small tip for the punctuation that I have for you here. When you're proofreading, just look at each of your sentence and see whether start of every sentence is a capital. This may look very basic to you, but people eat full stops. Many students don't put capitals and they just lose marks. And at times, just punctuation corrections can make one band change. I'm not exaggerating. It has happened. Just punctuation errors led to a band change. So imagine, proofreading is so powerful only if you know what to correct in those 2 to 3 minutes, because you know yourself well if you were using mistake analysis form diligently and religiously. Okay. Now, apostrophes is another troubled area, and a lot of students don't understand contractions. So cannot, can't. Okay. Could not, couldn't. So these apostrophes, contractions are not so welcomed in essay or reports for an academic students, because these are informal pieces. But 1 or 2 here or there, if you still in a habit write it, it's fine. But don't overuse apostrophes, because they are informal pieces altogether. In our general training letter, you can use apostrophes when you're speaking and you say, I don't usually do this. So it's okay, because speaking is not a formal piece of communication. It's informal or slightly semi-formal. So should some of the words be one word instead of 2? Now, this is also a thing in the writing. So not only the listening, the hyphens, even in the writing, your hyphens need to be taken care of. Okay. Now, we've been talking about relative clauses, and we did focus on, that students do make an error. So I just wanted to show you some usage here, how and who, and we are using an adverbial clause by using while, we use however. There's so many usages, a contrast linker is comes also with while, but here the while has a different usage. Okay, so please understand different usages of while also. So here it says doctor saves lives while the sports people also entertain. So of course, this also is a contrast only here. And then it says, I'm not sure how university education will change in the future. So now this is something which is easily delivered in your speaking, because this could be your part 3 question. Do you think in times to come, the university education is likely to change? What changes are you expecting, in times to come in the university education or in the higher education? So the person may answer this and he can use a relative clause then and there. So I would study medicine and then become a doctor who helps children around the world. So there's a compound conjunction also, and then there's a who also. So it's a very good sentence structure, and this is how your communication should be. It has to be accurate and it has to have a lot of variety. And for that, you should read good text, and IDP gives you brilliant material for study on their website, and Bullington English provides you the book sets when you register with IDP for the IELTS exam. One more tip that I would like to give you here for your writing, because we looked at the mistake analysis form, in context for listening. Of course, that can be even replicated for writing or reading. Any errors can be in that format. So it's always about know your errors, pull them out, practice around those errors by revising the grammar, rules that are creating that hiccup or anything that you need to revise around. And then again, practice that exclusively before you apply to the writing again. Grammar needs to be also practiced as grammar and then taken for the written production again. And the editing softwares really help you to monitor your progress. And also, from time to time, IDP does give you a chance of free, free mock tests are always there on the IDP website, but they give you a free, a basic mock test, a trial test, which was recently conducted on a 7th May also. And that cost for that was just 2,000 rupees altogether. So keep watching the IELTS IDP website for such information. They always put it on the homepage, whenever they're doing a mock test, which is a paid mock test for a basic cost of just 2,000 rupees. Okay, so that's for today that we wanted to cover for you. But the session is still not complete unless I don't take up your questions. And I'm going on the Q&A. And I see a lot of people have used the Q&A to respond to my questions rather than asking questions. Okay, then that means I need to go on chat. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Swati. 4:30 is another session. We have a master class. And in that, we are going to cover listening, reading, writing, speaking. And we keep doing the master class, 3 to 4 times in a month. You can always register. The IELTS Success Series, another would be done on the 17th of May. So I request my IDP team to post the registration details for 17th May. Okay. So just grammar, Raymond Murphy grammar book. That's it, Akshat. Okay. So today we have a masterclass, Dinesh. Go on the website, 4:30 it starts, and you can definitely join today's session. I would love to help you. And I want to ask you questions if you don't have a question for me. Yeah. So Harvinder, it's up on the website. Okay. The website, IDP IELTS India, how to prepare under IELTS section, then masterclass. So Sunil, the best material for writing is looking at the samples that IDP IELTS provide you in partnership with Bullington English. Now, when you go on those material, you will see how simply the questions are answered and how those answers are built without repetition, but with variety of language structures. So that's the essence, and how your closing echoes your opening again. Okay. So it's very, very important for you, Sunil, to understand that writing is all about answering the question and building that answer in the body paragraph. Akshit, it's not tough at all. No matter you're an art student, a science student, or an English honors graduate, it's absolutely a basic English exam. And whatever you've learned or you've done in your listening, reading, writing, speaking in your school days is exactly you can see it in the IELTS exam. But it does not say read this and then do this, from a book. It gives you a fresh, unseen passage, and what you read in the exam on the exam day is what you respond to. You don't reply or respond from general knowledge, when it comes to listening, reading, which is replication of the information that is heard or seen. Okay. Okay. So, Dinesh, once you go to IELTSidpindia.com, go how to prepare. When you see IELTS, in that drop down, there's how to prepare, then there's masterclass tab there. Okay. Manjinder, ask your question. What's your question? I would love to answer because I'm looking up to as many questions that I can. Yeah. Because ideally the question should have been in the Q&A because the chat is unlimited. So, okay. Masterclasses are free of cost. Keep attending masterclasses. We cover everything, what makes IELTS complete. And these IELTS success series are special series because we want to zoom, the ingredients that can help you ease out your performance and improve your performance. Anjali, I can read your question, but this is not a teacher training, so I wouldn't be able to take up this question in a student training session. Okay, Anjali. So check with IDP when are they doing the next teacher training. I would be happy to be there to help you know more about the tips. Okay, Manit. All right. So those who want to join the IELTS masterclass, you just have to look at, okay, Manjinder, I read your question. I'll reply that. Okay. So let me try. Okay. Let me open it up for you. Just a minute. Let me open up. Let me set the screen. And in that time, let me answer Manjinder's question. Manjinder has asked me whether she can write in capital letters. Yes, using one cap, all caps or all capital is allowed as an exception in IELTS exam for the listening and reading. But for the writing, proper punctuation is requested. Okay, that's important. Okay. Just a second. I'm just setting the screen so that it's easier for you. So I'm on the IELTS IDP India page and I'm under the preparation column. Okay. And it says practice, preparation material. I'm just clicking the prep material. Yeah, and I'm going scroll down. There's a 30-day prep practice computer. Okay. All together. Ankit, if you're there and if you have the link handy, you can just kind of write for them from the IDP website, please. Yeah, so we have live webinars under useful links. Yeah. So under the prepare thing, the live webinars, the success series, the link is under live webinar because the website manager may be kind of managing all the links from time to time. So I'm also kind of on the same page, but it's logical to find from where I'm saying how to prepare and things should be there. So this is the webinar series link, everybody. Okay. Harsh, listening high score कैसे करें? प्रैक्टिस से करें हर्ष, और जो भी आपकी मिस्टेक एनालिसिस में आपकी गलतियां आ रही हैं उनको ignore ना कीजिए. Okay, so it could be multiple choice question because you don't understand the traps in the multiple choice. So look at the tips for multiple choice which IDP has given, under the blocks. And in case you have problems in the spellings, then work on the sounds and work on your common spelling errors, because you will see you repeat errors in homophones, or probably you don't know the double consonant rule. So there are different things when all this happens. Okay, so I am still going to help you get the other link also. I have given you the webinar series link altogether here. Yeah. And I am just going on. There are practice test videos, everybody, on Prepare for IELTS. You can watch those also. Okay, they're very nice and they cover a wide range altogether. All recordings, are put on the website from time to time. And the familiarization test that I was talking about that happened on the 7th of May, that also tab is there under the Prepare for IELTS as such. Okay. Okay. So they have computer-based pen and paper, different mock test paper available here altogether. Yeah. So those who want to come for the IELTS masterclass right now, which is starting at 4:30, you can give me your email ID here and I'll quickly send the link. I'm not so sure whether last minute registration is managed by the team or no, because I'm not into admin at all. I only support academics. So I will be happy to send that link to you. Okay. I am just sending it to the team IDP and they will just send you the link to register. But one person, if you can't do today's session, don't worry, they'll give you the details for the next session. Okay, we keep doing it 3 to 4 times. I like the way, all these email IDs are coming. Yeah, awesome. Good. Okay, Dolma, you have to write your email ID, please, quickly. Yeah, Suraj, I see you last. All right, thank you so much. And please keep visiting IDP IELTS India website. It keeps updating all the sessions. And there's a complete registration page that you need to fill up for the masterclass. And I will try getting it sent for today or for the next session, but you will get it. Okay, I've kept your IDs and I'm sending it to the IDP India team. Okay, yeah, it's absolutely different content, Gayatri, because we try covering for everybody who's coming to the masterclass for the first time or multiple times. So of course, there'll be some things which are common, but we try to make it unique. Okay. So that's Ankit writing for us, and he's saying about the next success series here. Okay. All right. Everybody, thank you so much and see you all for the next session. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.